So I'm going to use 100 gram of unsalted butter for this breakfast recipe. It's called tarte au pomme. It's a French recipe. It's basically butter, flour, baking flour. So it's just your regular baking flour I'm using. And I'm going to sieve it also. I'm going to sieve. Then I'm going to add 1 egg for consistency. Then my apples. The apples, I'm going to peel out the skin. So I'm going to use 3 of these apples. I'm going to use it to make my paste. Then the remaining 2 will be for the decoration of the tart. So for this, you really have to get the measurements of your dough so that the consistency will be flat and soft. So I'm going to use 200 grams of my flour with 100 grams of my unsalted butter, then 1 egg. So if you are using 300 grams of flour, you use 200 grams of butter. 200 grams of flour, 100 grams of butter. So it has to be it has to be balanced. So we're going to start with the apples. Good morning everyone, thank you for joining me, pardon me. So I'm going to start by peeling my apples and making my dough. Let me get a pot. I'll use this one. I'm going to use that. So I'm going to start by peeling the apples. This is the part that I usually take most of the time. So you take out the apple skin. How are you all doing? Where are you watching from? What are you having for breakfast? So I'm also going to use sugar, but if you stay with me, you're going to see how this is done. And I'm also going to put a picture of it on my thumbnail. I'm going to change the thumbnail later so you can see the finished product. So we are starting by taking out the skin. You can get as much apple, but these are really big, so I got 5. 5 of these should be enough. They are really, really big. So I'm going to put this on fire when I finish peeling it. This should go on the fire. You take out everything and you cut into little pieces. I'm going to use this pot. So I'm just going to chop them in pieces in the pot. I think it's around 8 a.m. here in Dakar. Where are you watching from? What time is it? So you chop this in pieces so that it will cook faster. So the first one is done. I'm going to the next apple. This one is apple. It's the slicing of the apple that takes most of the time. It really takes time, but that's why I bought really big ones so that I don't spend half of the time slicing apples. Once you get the bigger sizes, 5 to 6 pieces is enough for this recipe. If they are smaller ones, you need 7 to 8 pieces. You want to make sure you take out. Oh, before I forget, before you start this, you really have to wash your hands properly. You can see I'm touching the apples directly with my hands. So you make sure your hands are properly washed before even starting. So it's actually very simple once you get the right measurements. It's very easy. I'm taking the third apple for my paste. So this paste I'm going to add 1 cup of sugar and 1 cup of water. Then I will transfer it to the fire to cook until it's forming this very soft paste. So I have my 3 apples ready. The remaining 2 will be sliced later. I'm going to go in with 1 cup of sugar. So 1 full cup of sugar. This is the sugar. I'm going to add it. Then 1 cup of water. You also have vanilla essence. You can add for flavor. You can add some drops of vanilla essence, but this one is optional. Now you are going to transfer this to the fire and leave it to cook till it is soft. Transfer it to the fire. I'm going to cook this until it is soft. Now I'm coming back to my apples. I'm going to slice the remaining two. This remaining two is what we are going to put on top of the dough. Say hi, let me know where you're watching from. Say hello, say hello. So I'm going to chop off these two. Try not to cut in too deep, else you will waste most of the apples. So you try to slice as thinly as possible. You can see this cutting of the apple that is really taking most of the time. Second apple. I'm going to list the ingredients in the description of this live stream. when it ends. So at this point, I'm going to need a chopping board to neatly slice my apples. I'll need a chopping board for this. You want to be careful with the knife, and this knife is really sharp. So I'm cleaning the inside of the apple. You want to take out this center. You don't want it on your tart. You want to make sure you take out the center. Now you have to preheat your oven before you continue, so that by the time your tart is ready, your oven will already be ready as well. So I'm putting on the oven. So you put on your oven before you continue. So this is what I'll be using for the tarts. This will be my tarts bowl. I want it nicely clean and ready. So now we can slice the apples. So for the apples you are going to use for decoration, this is how you slice. In thin slices, like this. Really thin. I'm going to use the chopping board so it's faster. You want them nice and thin like that. Really thin slices. That one is a bit too thick. I hope you can see what I'm doing. Really thin. Make it really thin. This way. Trying to get it as thin as I can. Don't want it to be too thick. If you're just joining and making an apple tart, I'm going to use 200 grams of flour, 100 grams of butter, 1 egg, 1.5 cup of sugar in total. So if you're just joining, maybe you have to watch from the beginning after the end of this live stream. If you're just joining and you want to make an apple tart at home, just to have fun and make it yourself, you can watch this live stream. So here are the apple slices I'm going to use to decorate the tart. Now we have to make the dough. Let's go to the dough. So for the dough, you take out your 200 grams of flour. I'm using a measuring cup to make this easier. So 200 grams. And I'm going to sieve it. Now we have our flour sieved. I'm going to add in 1 egg. Then a pinch of salt. Oh, this is not a pinch, it have a pinch of salt. Now this butter, this 200 grams. So I'm going to take half of this to get my 100 grams of butter. So I'm going to take out half of this. Half of this. Equal half. This should be it. I'm going to slice it in smaller pieces so it will be easy to mix with my dough. I'm using unsalted butter. It's easier baking with unsalted butter. So I'm going to keep this is my pan. I'm going to rub in the butter. You want to keep it nicely buttered. I'm going to set this aside. So now you come back to the dough and then you mix in the butter and the egg. So you can see I'm not wearing gloves, but if you have gloves, you can also use gloves for this. But make sure your hands are nicely washed under a running tap. I'm going to mix in all the butter till it's grainy. Nice and grainy. So at this point you want to add some water, or you have to put the water gradually. You don't just dump in the whole cup of water. So I'm going to use something like 1/3 cup, but I'm going to add it gradually till I get the consistency that I want. So here's I'm on 1/3 cup of water. So I'm going to go in gradually. I'm not going to use everything at once. So you add a little bit and then you mix in your dough. Our paste is starting to form. Remember 200 grams of flour, 100 grams of unsalted butter, and 1 egg, and a pinch of salt. And then you can get your dough. Not even, you just need like something like 2 tablespoons of water, and it's enough because there was already egg inside. There was already egg in the mixture. So with something like 2 tablespoons of water, your dough should be ready. Okay. So now I'm going to get my rolling pin and I'm going to stretch this out. See? Nice and fluffy. So you get your rolling pin. And you're going to add some flour to the surface, to your working surface. Add some flour. And dropping in your dough. I'm going to start rolling. So you roll till you get a flat consistency. Guys, you're not talking to me. Where are you watching from? Where are you watching me from? It would be nice to have some chat. Bonjour, bonjour. Should I speak the little French I can? We are really going to roll this out. Flipping it. My edges, they are supposed to be uniform. Huh? So I'm kneading once again. I want to get a smooth edge on my dough. I want smooth edges. Going in again. Now, not getting my smooth edge. I'm going to use it like that. Oh. I think it's time to stop the apple. Apples are nicely caramelized. This is a caramel color I wanted. And I think I got it. Nicely caramel. So you're going to take this. You see how it looks like, and you're going to blend your apples. If you don't want this caramel flavor, then you have to leave it cook for lesser time on the fire. Now I'm bringing in my tart bowl, and I'm going to try and put these on it. Oh, my tart is breaking. I'll see what I can do. So you bring in the dough. Oh, my tart. Oh. Okay, I'm going to cover the other side. I'm going to sit it on the tart bowl. We're going to use this remaining part to cover the open spaces. How this one can't tail like this? Okay. So you bring in your caramelized apples, and you're going to spread it on top. Going to spread this on top of the dough. Now you bring in your sliced apples and you arrange them on the dough. You're going to arrange your apples on the dough. You go in the center again, and you work your way out. Back to the center. I'm going to fill in as much apples as I can. Okay. So the top of the tart is completely covered with apple slices. So now we are going to add some sugar. I'm adding 1/3 cup of sugar. You sprinkle it in. Just a little bit more. Oops. And then you finish off with some butter. Okay. Check the oven. Okay, the oven is nicely hot. Now we can Now we can put our tarts in the oven. So we're going to leave it bake for 45 minutes and I will take it out. So, thank you for joining me. I'm going to leave this live stream on for another 10 minutes before I end the live stream. You can just join me and want to make your own tarts. You can watch this live stream from the beginning. I still have some leftover dough. I'm going to put this separately. So this is the leftover dough. I don't want it to waste. So I'm also going to put this in the oven. I don't want to waste this dough. This will also go in the oven. So we're going to leave that to bake for 45 minutes and then we stop the oven. Thank you for joining my live stream. How onion hard like this? This is just omelette I'll be eating before I go jogging. I don't want to go on empty stomach. I'm a bit hungry now. I'll be eating that before I go jogging. Thank you guys for joining me. I will see you in my next live stream, most probably tomorrow morning. I wish you all a lovely day, and you can try to make your own tart and let me know in the comment section if you succeeded. Have a nice day and enjoy the rest of your day.